You step into a long, torchlit chamber with stone walls. Metallic suits of armor stand sentry on the sides of the room. At the far end, you see a desk angled towards the doorway. Behind it, the Archmage Morzoth looks up from a book and smiles. He's been waiting for you. If you rush into combat immediately, the Archmage is going to fireball the party. And let's be honest, those suits of armor, they're actually helmed horrors, and they're about to mess you up. So what does this have to do with Feng Shui? My name is Kevin and I've been DMing for 10 years. I've also been fascinated by another YouTube channel, Dear Modern, whose interior designer Cliff Tan helps people arrange their homes in ways that fit their lifestyle. Cliff wrote this book, where he explains the practical applications of Feng Shui. Things like where the best place to sit is, what wall to put your bed up against, and where you hang mirrors. And that brings us back to the Archmage's chamber. This room is set up to give him the advantage. There's no sneaking in, you're funneled straight into the kill zone with no cover whatsoever. If you try to close the distance, the helmed horrors will form a blockade. And if you somehow manage to get past them, you can always cast Dimension Door to escape to another chamber. Now, Feng Shui is usually about harmonizing with your environment. But if we flip it, if we break Feng Shui, we can create dissonance. We can make spaces that are uncomfortable, tense, and even hostile. And that's exactly what this video is about. I'm giving you 4 Feng Shui principles you can use to design better dungeons. And with that, let's look at that chamber one more time. Every boss fight starts before initiative is rolled, with how the battlefield is arranged. The Archmage has set himself up in what Feng Shui calls the command position. He is in the most secure spot in the room, with full visibility of every nearby path, and enough distance from the party to control how this fight begins. Because Counterspell only has a 60-foot range, unless the party has access to something like Anti-Magic Field or Wall of Force, the Archmage is going to open with a fireball. You've probably heard the word Qi when it comes to Feng Shui. In short, Qi is the energy of a room. There's a lot more to cover with the concept of Qi later in the video, but in this case, the party is staring down the barrel of a sniper rifle. This is an example of killing Qi, where the energy of a space feels threatening and uncomfortable. There are many ways to use killing Qi to unsettle your players. If the party walks down a hallway and spots a boulder trap ready to flatten them, the act of getting past it becomes tense and stressful. A dank cave with stalactites hanging from the ceiling, threatening massive damage if any would fall on them, has the same effect. But killing Qi doesn't have to be visible. It could be the creeping dread when the party realizes they're being hunted, the growling echoes of a beast deep within the mountain. Maybe the area has a psychic disturbance, making the party hear discordant whispers from the Great Old One, forming into their thoughts and driving them towards paranoia and madness. Killing Qi is exactly what it sounds like. It's energy that makes a place feel wrong. And you can use it to define for your players what feels off in the moment they step inside a room. But sometimes the scariest thing you can give your players isn't a monster. It's just a dark hallway. Making the party feel uncomfortable can be as simple as forcing them to walk into the unknown. They're out of their depth. They're not in Kansas anymore, you might say. Sure, some parties will ignore these feelings and charge into any situation, but for cautious players, this is where even simple obstacles shine. Ever been in a dungeon that feels like it's 80% hallways? I struggle with immersion in these labyrinths because why were they built that way? Unless it's a sewer or a water channel, it often just makes no sense to me. But mechanically, hallways are powerful. Good Feng Shui prefers flowing, open paths, not tight corridors with sharp 90-degree turns. Those sharp angles interrupt a sense of smooth passage and force players to creep forward, peeking around every corner. And every peek is another stealth check they might fail if something or someone is waiting on the other side. And then there are dead ends. Picture the party deep in the mountains, searching for the entrance to the catacombs where the Archmage is hiding. They find the tunnel collapsed, rubble blocking the way forward. They know this is the right path, But now they must clear the debris quickly and quietly. Any lurking monster in the mountain could hear them, and if the monster does show up, they are trapped in a dead end with nowhere to run. That's cutting chi, the unsettling energy created by sharp corners, sudden obstructions, and being funneled into spaces you can't fully control. In real life, cutting chi might just be something as simple as the sharp corners of your kitchen table. You bump into it, it hurts, and you walk away with a bruise. And after that, you start avoiding it. The table is now turned into a constant obstacle in your own home. Speaking from personal experience. But in a dungeon, obstacles work the same way. They keep your players cautious, always aware that the environment itself might trip them up. This is the immersion we're looking for, and it can make something as simple as peeking around a corner feel like a dangerous roll. So, you peek around that terrifying corner and you see nothing, hear nothing, smell nothing. It's unnerving. When everything in a dungeon feels lifeless, the environment itself becomes the enemy. The party clears the rubble and enters an ancient catacomb where the evil archmage is said to be performing forbidden necromantic experiments. These catacombs are suffocating to even be in. The air is musty, brackish water drips from the ceiling into shallow puddles. Broken urns and shattered mirrors litter the stone floors. Withered plants are rotting away. This is dead chi, stagnant, lifeless energy. Feng Shui associates health with flowing water and thriving greenery, but in this dungeon, everything signals decay. No wonder the Archmage chose this place to study necromancy. The environment itself mirrors his obsession with death. And dead chi doesn't have to be in a dark, underground crypt. The light of the sun in a blistering desert with no shade or water creates the same effect. These are oppressive environments where vitality has been drained away. Life does not want to live in these places. But while we're talking about the light of the sun and the darkness of a crypt, this is a perfect place to bring up the concept of yin and yang. Even in the darkest dungeon, a single ray of light can change everything. After chasing the Archmage Morzoth through several chambers, the party finds him in a partially collapsed crypt. The room is dark, oppressive, and decaying. But through a crack in the ceiling, a single shaft of sunlight breaks through, striking the dirt beneath a broken stone tile on the floor, and in that light, a lone flower blooms. This is yin and yang, opposites that define each other. Light exists only in contrast with darkness. Running water moves, and still water doesn't. Life and death, growth and decay, these opposites are all bound together. As a DM, you can use this principle to enrich your dungeon encounters. Maybe the flower tells the party that the crypt is corrupted, and if they collapse more of the ceiling, the sunlight will cleanse the area of its necrotic energy. Maybe Morzoth himself can be dragged into the light and forced to confront the life he abandoned. Or maybe the flower is simply a symbol of resilience, proof that even in the most suffocating place, life can still bloom. In Feng Shui, yin isn't always bad and yang isn't always good. It's about balance. Just like in my home office, I've got a busy workspace with 2 monitors that I can check my emails while working on projects, but I balance it with a futon where I can take breaks and hang out with my cats while they nap. Back in the dungeon, the lesson is the same. By weaving yin and yang into your environments, you can create powerful moments of contrast that give your players more than just another room to clear. You give them, instead, a story. Now you might be thinking, of course, giving the boss the high ground, cramping the party in a tight, narrow corridor, or throwing them into a crypt is going to put them on edge. And sure, that's true. But what interests me isn't just the mechanics of those encounters, it's how you narrate them. Feng Shui is about shaping your surroundings to influence how you feel. And at the game table, the vibes are already good. You're surrounded by friends. But if you can shape the fictional surroundings vividly enough in your players' minds, you can give them just the right amount of tension and anxiety to keep them hooked. So there you have it. That's how you can break Feng Shui to design better dungeons. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, you might want to like, subscribe, and hit the bell and get notified when I post a new video. I'm aiming for every Thursday, but I'm pretty new at the whole YouTube thing, so we'll see how it goes. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for stopping by. Knowing that people are out there watching and enjoying what I make really brings a smile on my face and motivates me to keep going. So next time your players kick open a door and see a smiling archmage waiting at the far end of the chamber, don't just tell them to roll initiative. Bring up the tension by showing your players just how screwed they are. That's all I've got for now. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.